This is Fred Beck from Fred Fighting, proudly sponsored. Today I'm joined once again by the one and only Jeff Mayweather. Jeff, it's good to have you on the Zoom again. It took us a while to get here, but we finally got it. How you doing?
Good, man.
Is that it? You're just good?
That's it. That's the best way to be. Yeah. I ain't gonna say I'm bad.
If I was to ask you there, Jeff, how you doing? Would you ever say you're bad, or would you always just say you're good, even if you are bad?
Would I say I'm good if I'm bad?
Yeah.
No.
So you'd always say you're good?
But the thing is that I believe that life is kind of like what we make it. And if we're out doing things that are bad for us, we're gonna end up in some trouble.
There you go.
If we're doing things that are good for us, maybe we'll be blessed.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Go on, Jeff. That can be in your book one day.
Yeah, that can be in my book. Blessings.
Would you ever write a book though, Jeff?
Actually, I'm working on a book. And actually 2 different movies.
Movies. So, last time we spoke, Jeff, I think it was about 4 times. About ago, you told me you're working on a documentary. Is that out of the picture now?
Well, I mean, no, that's it. That's going to happen. I mean, it's a process. So, because I'm doing it with someone else, and the person that I'm doing it with is, he doesn't live here. So, that makes it a little difficult. And so we got to do some more shooting, go back to my old hometown where I used to live, where everything actually took place and boxing even got started for us all.
That sounds pretty good then. Can I be in your documentary when it comes out? Can I have a little cameo?
Yeah. You can be getting doomed upside the head.
When I come to Vegas, we'll have that little clip in on me on the pads. Would your nephew Floyd be in the documentary, Floyd Mayweather Jr.?
Yeah, I think he has a documentary. I haven't seen it, but
no, Jeff, will he be in your documentary?
I'm sorry?
Will he be in your documentary?
He'll be in it, but he'll be in it only because he worked with his dad and yeah, but it's not about him. It's about us.
Yeah, 100%. But normally, obviously, he would have played a bit of a part in your life. You in his corner.
He's definitely gonna be a part of it in that aspect. But I mean, basically, this is a documentary that's the story before the glory. So it's not really about him. It's about how he got to where he was.
Yeah, 100%. Have you heard that he's been linked with a fight with Conor McGregor again for a rematch?
Why not? Easy ass money. he made 300 million last time. Why not?
But do you see that fight happening again though? It happened once in 2017. Do you think it happening again?
I don't think. I mean, it can happen, but I don't think there's a reason for it to happen. I mean, because
money, Jeff, money. That's the reason for it to happen.
I mean, yeah. I mean, of course, but I'm saying that I don't know if there's enough people that want to spend their money to see the exact same thing happen or even worse. Because now Floyd don't have to play with him or to entertain the crowd or anything and just go out there and beat his ass. So you'll probably be spending $100 for probably 1 or 2 rounds.
But I think the news broke yesterday or the day before yesterday. So I think it was Fight Hype that broke the news. What percentage is the fight happening? 100% being a solid, 0% there's no chance. What percentage would you give it?
As far as what?
As far as the fight happening, as far as the fight going ahead.
I have no idea because I mean, I just not saw it somewhere somebody actually sent me some little it wasn't even really a promo, it's just a picture of Floyd and Connor looking at each other. And that's all I've seen. So I mean, I don't even speak on stuff that I don't know about.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's cool. But I've got to ask you, Jeff, though. I was on the way back from the bus from college yesterday, and I received a WhatsApp message from you. And there's a video of you getting beaten up by a female wrestler. Tell me about that.
Oh. Well, it's funny, right? Of course, wrestling is supposed to be fake. But actually, okay, it was, I'm gonna let everybody know that it was a skit, you know, and but the only thing about the skit is that I actually got hit for real. And I got hit for real because I didn't follow protocol. She said, when I touch your shoulder, be ready to move your head. And so I was just supposed to react with the punch, but I forgot all about that shit. She smacked the shit out of me. But don't get me wrong. I mean, I did my own version of acting. You know, I mean, I'm sorry.
The video said me, Jeff. It looked like you're quite a good actor. It didn't look like you got hit. And so I was thinking, you actually get hit.
No. I did get hit.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So it was easy for me to carry it off and make it look like it was real because it actually was real. It's just the fact that, you know, I went, you know, even a little further by, you know, falling to the ground and, you know, and all that stuff, you know. But I mean, it was something that we've been knowing Lady Tapia for about probably about 10 years. And so we just finally said that we wanted to do something with her. And she's a very, very sweet lady. And it's so funny that she's so nice and so sweet that she didn't want to do it. Because she knew the possibility of me not being able to catch on, you know, when it was in the heat of the moment. And so afterwards, instead of talking to me like she was talking to me, she wanted to pick me up like I was a baby. Yeah, but yeah, that was just one of our skits. That, I mean, it went well. It was very successful, I thought.
Well, it sounds like it's successful for the company. It sounds like it's successful for the wrestler. It didn't sound as successful for yourself. But was that the first time you've been? Was that the first time you've been punched since your professional boxing career? Since you were world champion?
Yeah. Yeah. And the only thing about this is that it was designed for me not to punch back. And I couldn't use my defense.
You couldn't use the shoulder.
I should have did this. But I didn't remember it was coming. Oh my God. And don't get me wrong, I felt it too. It wasn't like it was, you know, it was nice. You know, it was like, boom.
Would you ever do that, Jeff? Would you ever kind of get involved in professional wrestling? Or was that a one-off thing?
No, I just think that's a one-off. I mean, I like professional wrestling. And I mean, really, I did that more so in support of her. And to actually, because they have like a league of wrestling. And I'm not sure if it's just all women. I'm not sure. But I mean, I know that, you know, me being a part of it would help it, you know, grow a little bit. And of course, starting out, and that's their first event. and something like that happening, is so funny because I never actually went to a wrestling event, and I didn't know the protocol. I didn't know how people act in a wrestling event. But people sit there and watch this stuff and react to everything that happens in wrestling. And I mean, it's like it's scripted. And even the people in the audience play a part too. So it's kind of weird for me.
Now you know how Jody Cohen felt when he got attacked by that wrestler. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I think he probably said that's why he set that up.
I want you to get a taste of your own medicine there, but I've got a couple of things on this list here. Jake Paul Fury, that fight got announced the second time only a few days ago. How do you see that playing out? How do you see that going?
I know zero about Tommy Fury. So, I mean, I can't really even give you a legitimate answer because I don't know nothing about him at all. Only thing I know is that he supposedly is a professional fighter. That's it. But that doesn't mean anything because he could probably be fighting fighters that's less than what Jake is fighting. At least Jake fighting real athletes, but and they all kind of athletes, but he ain't fighting no damn real fighter. But I don't know about, like I said, I don't know nothing about Tommy Fury, and it seems as though the kind of money that they're putting out there, he should be jumping at it because he haven't done shit. But now he got 101 excuses why he's not going to do it. So obviously he must have some fear in him.
Do you feel a risk for Jake to take this fight? Considering if he did carry on fighting to become the UFC fighters or other athletes who aren't boxers, he could have carried on making millions, tens of millions.
No, wait a second. You saying should Jake? Do I think Jake should take this fight?
Yeah, rather taking another fight like a UFC fighter or an
No. I think that this would be the first time that he's fighting a legitimate fighter, even though. And I mean, it's the fighter that, just happened to have a name just because he associated with his brother. So that helps a little bit. But at the end of the day, I mean, he's still a legitimate professional fighter, a guy that signed a boxing contract, not a guy that from the UFC played basketball, baseball, gymnastics, all that bullshit. And then you calling on them and you want to fight them. And you bigger than all of them. So, I mean, that's a mismatch anyway. But I mean, don't get me wrong, I still take my hat off to Jake because I mean, I still think Jake and what he's doing is still good for boxing. I mean, as long as you're a part of it. If you're not a part of it, you're mad because you're not in that circle. But I mean, if you're in that circle, shit, you're happy as hell to see fucking Jake in your goddamn face.
Yeah.
I mean, Jake has made, guys millionaires. That for what? For fucking 10 seconds of work.
If Jake Paul's taking a contract to fight him, would you fight Jake Paul?
Fuck no, he way too goddamn big for me. But I tell you what, shit, I bet you he won't knock me out like he do all these other fucking bums. I ain't gonna call them bums.
How would you approach that?
They're doing their own sports, but I mean, when it came to boxing, they didn't know what the fuck they was doing.
Jeff, how would you approach that fight if you're gonna fight him?
If I was gonna fight him, I mean,
yeah, how would you approach it?
I would have to get in tip-top shape, and basically, I mean, shit, I was a defensive fighter. I mean, I still know how to move my head. Shit, I mean, and I just let he'll be swinging, and I mean, and I'm gonna take a shot every once in a while at him, but I'm not gonna be trying to trade punches with him. You know, I'm gonna try to make him miss as many punches as he can, and you know, hopefully he'll gas out. That's the only strategy I could, because I mean he's much bigger than me.
Well, there you go. That's your strategy, Jeff, if that contract ever gets sent your way. But I've got to ask, every time I do these interviews, I always the Mayweather Boxing channel, what's going on with that? Obviously, that's your channel. But let's talk about the podcast. There have been a podcast episode, I think, nearly a year. What's going on with that?
Well, I mean, our podcast, I mean, it's just not consistent. And basically, Amir is more responsible for that than, you know, the rest of us. And so we need to make up our mind whether we're going to do it or not. And basically, that's kind of where I'm at right now, because I don't want to do something that means nothing, because we do it, and then next thing you know, fucking, we don't do the next one until fucking 3 or 4 months later. You know, when you're doing something like a podcast, you need to be consistent. You need to let your audience know exactly when to, you know, to expect to be able to tune in, you know, at the same time, you know, all the time. And so if that's not happening, we need to just stop altogether, because I don't want to waste my time, you know, talking on a damn podcast for the hell of it.
You want to be consistent a bit. You want to have an episode going out each week rather than an episode going out each year. Who would be your dream guest to get on that podcast? To get anyone still alive?
I would probably say the same thing that most people would say. Probably Muhammad Ali. I mean, I think he's had an extremely, extremely interesting life, interesting career, and so much more than just boxing. A lot of social content about, you know, political content, a little bit of everything, you know. So you can get, just by having him on your show, you basically cover almost everything that people go through, people have done, you know, and I mean, and plus, you know, and I mean, of course he's a boxer, but and that's what made him so much bigger than just boxing, was all the other things that he did. You know, all the other things that he took time to do. He took time to go to another country to release our soldiers that were in prison. And they had no problem releasing them to him, but wouldn't release them to the president. You know, so I mean, that's power. That's power, and that's something that's iconic, to be able to do that shit, to be able to go to a whole nother country and say, free my people. And
Jeff, I've got a question for you. Who do you think had a bigger impact on boxing? Your nephew, Floyd Mayweather Jr., or Muhammad Ali?
Well, I mean, when you're talking about boxing, Floyd boxing, but when you're talking about the whole package of Muhammad Ali, it's not even close. I mean, Floyd changed boxing in a sense that made the pay rate go up so high that guys that would never see 10 or 15 million or 20 million in their life, they can attribute that to him, because he raised the pay rate, you know. And so, and don't get me wrong, and he did the business side of boxing because he realized his self-worth. And once he realized his self-worth, they were willing to pay for it. You know, Floyd was hated. Floyd wasn't loved. Floyd was hated. And that hate turned into money. That hate turned into money because people wanted to pay, they was willing to pay to see him get his ass whooped. But he never gave him that satisfaction.
Since Floyd was a nephew, what do you think the blueprint to beat Floyd was, the game plan?
I don't really know if there's a blueprint to really beat him because he never got beat. So, I mean, everybody seemed like they may have a blueprint, but shit, if somebody ain't never got beat, obviously nobody's blueprint worked. You know, I mean, and the one thing you gotta realize in boxing is this: you can have any fucking print you want. One punch can change all of that shit. And it's just that Floyd never got caught. Because one thing that he never jumped in the ring unprepared. He was always prepared when he stepped in that ring. He was in the best shape of his life every single time, every single fight. And when you have someone that is made, $100 million, and still when he steps in that ring, he's still gonna be at his best. He's gonna be at his best because that was embedded in him when he was a kid growing up. When he started boxing, his dad said that his dad said that he was gonna be the best fighter to ever put on a pair of gloves. And that stuck with him. And basically, that's what actually really happened.
Yeah, certainly looks like it did. But what fight, Madonna or Castillo?
As far as what?
As far as the tougher fight, the closer fight.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't think the Castillo fight was close at all. I think the only reason I think that fight was even considered close, because that was the first time somebody ever seen Floyd get hit probably more than fucking 20 times. And everybody's all of a sudden, because a guy finally landed punches on Floyd, all of a sudden, he gets way more credit than he deserves. I mean, I thought Floyd won that fight. I ain't gonna say easy. I think the Madonna fight was tougher in terms of, because it was at some point, Floyd was actually hurt in that Madonna fight. And if Madonna would have caught Floyd early enough in that fight, maybe Floyd would be, maybe he would be, he'd have a loss on his record. But like I said, and that's the one thing that I'm saying is that even though no matter how hard you work, still one punch can change all of that. And fortunately, Floyd was always in tremendous shape. And that's what prevented him from ever losing.
100%. There you go, Jeff. That's a pretty good way to end it here. I'm sure we'll catch up at the end of August. So when we get you on every 2 months. But for yourself, you got anything else coming up for yourself in the next 2 months? Anything on the
Well, right now, like I said, I'm working on the documentaries and all this other shit, and I'm also going to be in a reality show, a boxing reality show.
You're going to be on a reality TV show?
Yes.
Wow. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, that shit. And I mean, it's a boxing reality show. It should be really nice. I don't want to tell you the premise of it because...
Jeff, I've got a question about that reality TV show, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Happy Punch Promotions putting that on.
Say it again.
Is Happy Punch Promotions pushing that reality TV show on? Happy Punch Promotions putting that reality TV show on.
I don't know. I never heard of Happy, whoever you said.
Okay, that's quite interesting then. Who's putting it on, Jeff? Who's the broadcaster or who's the organizer?
Oh, okay. This is being done by people that are really in the movie industry, not in the boxing industry at all.
Mm.
So right now we're working on getting all the protocol and all the things that need to be done and put in place for the show to actually be aired, because I mean there's a whole lot that you got to do with the commission. You actually do have to go out and get promoter's license, and so there's a whole lot that's going on with trying to make this movie happen. But that's where we're at right now.
I've got 40 minutes on Zoom right now, and it's got 1 minute left remaining. So I'm actually going to let you go. But it shows you're a former world champion, boxing coach.
Bye.
and now reality TV star. So Jeff, it's good to catch up with you. I know your Instagram got hacked, but you're still putting it up. I think you got about 15,000 on there. So I'll put that in the description. But I'll catch you later, Jeff. Thanks for the time, mate.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, man.